into it. We are in a whole nother week here coming on up. It's the weekly preview, AK47 Prime Trading Investments, as well as TradeCaster.com. Come on over and get those one-on-ones if you want to over at my website. Prime Trading Investments been doing one-on-ones for about 3 years now. Have the morning voice alerts, which are complete breakdowns, way thorough, much more so than what I'll go through in there day in, day out. But let's get into the morning voice alerts. It's the week coming up here of the 29th through the 2nd. SPY still wondering if we get up through 500 or magnet 2 and all these other plays. So let's kind of start breaking them DOWN down. I still have a good feeling SPY is going to squeeze up in more of a magnet. I don't know how close we get to 500, but I think if we do get up there, it's going to be, my point being, we're at that phase in this movement on the SPY where we're up and away, and we're going to fly, or we're going to get a rejection here off 500. This is kind of the move that maybe traders have been looking for. You just go back here to the weekly overall. You just go back through the last year. We're on a pretty good tear. You just go back from essentially right around Halloween, right, the end of October, early November. We're on a pretty nice good tear overall. But again, even look at the last good tear we had, which was from March and from March to July, which is a pretty good tear, dollar wise. I think this one's, percentage wise is up faster overall, but still, this was a good move for about $60. The pullback overall, if you go back and look at it, was only $50. I think we're going to see something similar to that. I think we're going back to the normal, you go back to the trends of prior years, and we'll go back further if we can here. Go back to just say 10 years on the weekly. Like on the SPY, it would be up and then down, up and down, up. And even like normally it was when I first started trading here, 17, 16, 17, 18, when you had pullbacks on the SPY, they were micro, they weren't ever that major. This was during the election time. I know at Trump, right around that time with Trump, there was a big pullback. But the point being, and sometimes we see that with elections, or of course COVID happened here in 20. But most years, this is it. I know this is different. We're just skyrocketing 20 into 2022, but this is typically what you get. This is our one major pullback year that we get finally in 2022. But 20 into 21, great. 2022 is our pullback here. Usually, typically after that, you surge up. The next year is always I forgot what return it is, typically 20%, or I forgot what it is, always that first year after a major pullback year. But then we slowly still push up those other years. So in my opinion, I really think we could really continue to go. And if we do have a pullback, even here, my point being at 500, or even if we don't get quite there, maybe we get at 497. Maybe go to 502 and just over it. And I'll kind of break down and show you what NVDA did when it went up to 500 for the first time. It had a pullback, but it wasn't crazy where we just died off. And if you look at the normal pullbacks, it's typically going to do what it has done in the past. This is our red year. You can't really go by it. This is our big pullback from last year. I think it's something similar to that. So let's just say, for instance, we get to 500 and fill. I think it'd be a $50 pullback, something along those lines, to where, well, you could probably base where you could base off of, right around here. Fail, reversal, fail, reversal, fail, reversal. I'd bet if we do get to 500, right around it, maybe a little bit over it, we move up, or I should say move back down to 460, no lower than 450. Now, just kind of showing you from the week ahead what to expect in my opinion. You can see here there's kind of almost a triple top of resistance, really more so a double top, almost a triple top. We'll call it 489, right? Right on 49 on the dot. Is just cannot get over it. Once we do, and if we do have that good day and a nice good squeeze day, we're through 490, up to 490, 150, 492, 50. At that point, we're probably going to hit 495, and if we hit 495, we're a magnet to 497, 50, 498, 75, which means we're probably going to hit really close to 500, if not 500. Now, again, do we get that gamma squeeze and just keep going up for more? Like, oh boy, here we go. We're through 500 and pull an NFLX. Maybe we do that because you kind of got two tail of the tape. So over 489 and 490, this is a magnet to 500 for the week. Back under 485-ish, and then back under 484, somewhere right through there, I think we easily pull all the way back out on 482, 43, and that's your main barrier. The old all-time high was right around 480, if I'm not mistaken. There's a big shelf of support for a couple of days and resistance the day before. If we crack that 483-ish mark, we'll call it, then we could see a good pullback in the SPY and multiple dollars, possibly back down to 478, etc. So watch for that this week. First shelf, 485, 44. The bottom went down around 483. If that cracks, we should see 480, if not below it. And again, over 489, 490, we're at 495, 497, and most likely to 500. Over to Apple, kind of getting this arching effect, really starting to see NVDA and NFLX be the ruler and mover of SPY here recently. You kind of have its trend, so Apple I could easily see back under 192 here, especially on Monday. This is prime watch for you guys tomorrow, all the way down to 190-ish, if not, 190.50. Could see down to the 188.50 mark, and then easily down to 186.50. Now, beyond that, then it'll get a little congested into this charting that we had at the start of the mid to start of January, and it'll be tough to get through 180 and 185. but we do have some room to run back under 192. Of course, back on the way up, maybe everything pushes, this does as well. 193 is your key as we push back on up. And the main one, as you can tell, 196. Over 196 should see 197.50, 198.75. I would imagine this still is, and it did pretty much hit 200. I mean, again, you think of a small cap play. Because I was a small cap trader to start off with. I'm like, hey guys, target's $2. If the stock hits 196, I'm not one of those people that have to have $2 on the dot. So many traders that start off their journey have to have it right on the dot and so specific. Well, it didn't hit 2. I didn't get out, Josh. Didn't hit. I'm like, no. You get out of that trade. Like, that's 196. That's 4 pennies. 190. That's close as it's going to get. So my point being, that could maybe the top of the road. But if everything does continue to go up, SPY, NVDA, NFLX, I would imagine this still gets pull back here and there, but then could still matriculate its way back to 200. Key breakouts 196. Key crack 192. Over to AMD, main key area here, really kind of getting that up and away, all-time highs, over 185. Over 185, this is a skyrocket to 188, 75, 190. And at that point, we know if we get to 190, like SPY at 490, probably going to magnetize itself close to 200. Right now, watch for that little bit of a trend that we formed in early pre-market in hours on Friday there. Really could roll back a multi-day trend line if you look at it right here. And I'll just kind of, boom, put a trend line in. And I'm starting to notice this kind of trend right about right there. You can see it touch. That's your trend. Crack of that trend on AMD. Watch for that pullback down to around the 172.50 mark down to 170. 170 is going to be crucial. We crack it. I know there's some congestion through here, but that's the thing. There's really nothing but reversals and top. So, top and bottoms, reversals, right? So I think through 169, you maybe have to worry about 168.75. We always talk about, but through that, you should fly down to the bottom reversal area, which is 165, below 165, 164. Below that to the next reversal area right here at 162-ish or so, and then to 160. Again, those are your levels on the way up for and down for AMD. Over to Amazon real quickly, again, at that 52-week high area, 160.72 was that on Friday. Back over that, we just continue to matriculate up. I'm sure you can kind of see the trend here with some of these plays. Nice uptrend channels to put those in. Didn't hit quite perfectly there. Went a little below it, but that is your uptrend channel, and the main reason you know why. You can come in over here and put your top uptrend resistance, and it's pretty parallel. I would mark it up there. You could do it. I would just go ahead and kind of put that in a little bit tighter and put it somewhere right about right there. There's your uptrend channel for Amazon. So you can see over 161.50, we're going up, 162.50, 163, then 165. Which we want. I'm in long-term Amazon shares. And then back under 158, watch for a pullback to 157, 156. And then it's just kind of dollar intervals. There's really nothing because you're slowly moving your way up, but the crack of that trend could lead to a nice pullback that you'll see maybe a multi-day pullback, possibly overall down to 150. Google, again, 52-week high, up over 155. Watch for that roll to 156, 157.50, 158.75, roll to 160. Easily, in my opinion, a magnet. You can see, again, where do you want to put your trend line in at. Somewhere right around there, in my opinion, on Google. Keep that uptrend channel. A lot of these have the uptrend channel intact. Really a good resistance as well with a lot of these, as you can see. Come on, get in there for me. Nope, a little too high. Well, that works out actually just about perfectly right here. That works out pretty good. Former support then was what? Resistance. That's your channel for Google. So back onto the trend line, watch through 152, could roll down to 150. Does have some room to run because we're so far up here and away. Over 155, a magnet to 160. Back under 152 should be a magnet to 150. Under the 150 down to 149. Really dollar intervals. You don't really run into a lot of congestion until you're down to about 145. Over to Meta here, team. Small cap world too, real quickly. Small caps, we'll see what we get this week. Was pretty hot at the end of the week, but we started so slow. I don't think we're anything close to being back in small caps. I would update that to start off with, if so. Meta right here, I'd put the trend line in basing off somewhere through here-ish, wherever you want to put it in at. You can see the uptrend channel that we are in, though, on Meta. Somewhere through there, I'd paste it in there. Somewhere in there is where you'd base it off of. And true resistance looks to be pretty good right about right there. There's your uptrend channel for Meta. Crack back down through 392 and 390 especially. Could see the pullback through 388.75 all the way down to 385. Then down to your other reversal, which I love these reversal areas where you go up and away. Of course, right there at 382-ish or so. Then down to 381. Under 381, there's not much at 380. This should crack right on down to 376. I like that crack back there. Overall, in the trend line crack, I wouldn't think we got, and again, unless the market completely reverses overall, which we're not close to that happening in my opinion, that would be, hey, next Friday or next Sunday into Monday, maybe we have a multi-day pullback and we do crack these trends and we're at 380 to 375-ish or so, then I'd say, hey, we could be seeing that trend line crack. We talked about it. Multi-day pullback could be in that process. Overall, in the trend crack, though, so far, multi-levels down. I don't think we get lower than 375. Again, what's this look like? Over 397, 397. Magnet to what? 400 easy. Top of that channel usually goes over it. We'll get to that NVDA and NFLX coming up next. 402.50 seems like a lock at this point on NVDA, or a Meta, I should say, on Meta, especially if we hold this trend. Now, we maybe only crack the trend, pull back down to 390, maybe just have a 1 or 2 day pullback, and then we rip right back on up. So do not be surprised if that happens as well in these plays. Pretty much just like we talked about with any of these other plays I'm going to bring up. Oh, a small cap play. I wanted to get to $4. That hit essentially 397. That's it. That's about it. So that's the week. So, all the way back here, I'm saying, hey, this is a magnet to 385 over 385. It's 390 over 390. We're magnet to 4, right? So it's just walking these up. They're magnets to these whole round numbers. And most of these, I think they continue to go up, in my opinion, this week. Watch for the pullback on down through 402 into 400, under 400 to 398 on Microsoft. That Microsoft daily uptrend is not as pretty as the others. It's more of a sideways channel out to the right with about 401 to 402 support. Crack of 400 is the main key, and then you could find your way back down to 395 in this major reversal of 394, which was old resistance and became support. Be a great bounce area if you ever get to that point, if and when we do get down there. I'm sure at some point we shall. 390 after that, and you could really start working your way down into 390, back into the 380s. If and when this has a pullback, again, I just don't see this having more than somewhere around, in my opinion, normal pullback would be 395, 394, I should say, for the great bounce play. But, for the week, there's no way this gets that low. I think the lowest this would get, my point being, as in down to the 380s, I don't think we get any lower this week on Microsoft than 394, unless we get that major market reversal. Everything's dumping back. Although, again, I think we're going up this week, in my opinion. NFLX really pushing the market. You can tell earnings report came up to 500. And here's what I'm talking about with the 500. Came up to it, just a hair over it. 502-ish, 503 both times. Failed, came back down, but only to the 570s. So that's, or 470s, I should say, right? Like I was talking about with the SPY. Same thing kind of with Meta pulling back. Maybe, possibly. This move's a lot bigger, though. Obviously, NFLX does than Meta and SPY, but that would be your multi-day pullback at most, if and when we got that on SPY and Meta, kind of that big area round number and reversal. But that's it, and then we're back up. And then even then, though, that's why I think we still go up. If Netflix and NVDA continue their surge here, it's going to continue to push that market up. You can see the multi-day trend line here that I'd have in. It's not perfect, but there's that uptrend channel we're in. I think we push over 580 this week, up to 585. In my opinion, NFLX is going to do its best to try to catch NVDA. And way fat, you're like, holy wow, you caught up with NVDA in a hurry. And obviously a lot of it comes from right here. But you got to imagine, look on Friday, we went from 560 all the way up to 580, low of day to high of day. It's starting to move now. So in my opinion, NFLX, watch for this over 580 to 585, which no width, to 590, and then probably to 600. Could easily see 600 by week's end, easily for NFLX. On the pullback side, maybe we do start to come back on down. 468.75 roll, huge to 465-ish or so, 466 or 565, 566, somewhere in that area you can tell. Then we're dumping all the way down to 560. 560 is going to be crucial if and when we close, close and open candles on the daily, or even like an hourly or 4-hour time frame under that area. Watch for a major pullback on that day or within ensuing days to 550 and maybe down to 540. Just don't see us getting any lower this week, in my opinion, than 550. If we do have a pullback, I think we go up, in my opinion. Like I said, 550 to 540. Well, we'll go 535. 550 to 535. Maybe if we have big red days, that would be the lowest I see in the NFLX this week. Over to NVDA, like I talked about, the monster that was originally before NFLX and helping this market go up, has caught in some choppy days here recently, but we're still up and away. Again, I see this up this week. Now, even if we come down, we have to really get through a lot of these key areas with 605. 600 is going to be really tough to get through. Then we're down to 595 and then 590. I don't see us getting any lower this week than 590 in my opinion. Maybe down to that lower shadow around 585, low to mid 580s. On the way back up, watch for that downtrend break from Thursday into Friday, back through 620, all the way up, in my opinion, to 625, 627 area, 628.75 real right. If we crack through or break through that, I should say, we're easily to 630, 632.50. Ultimate high for the week. I would say NFL or NVDA could easily get up, especially if NFLX gets to 600. NVDA is going to be at probably 640 to 650. Lowest, like I said, the week could get somewhere in this area. over to the QQQ time. On the way on up here, we'll go over the downtrend. You can see this downtrend that we have on some of these plays from Thursday through Friday. Over 25.26 through to 27 to 28.75, roll to what? 430. Over 430 at tops this week, in my opinion, can get to maybe 435 to 440. 435 to 440, that's where we'd end the week on the way up if we got over 430 on QQQ. And on the way down under 422 and 420 would be crucial. And if we did, we'd get a big pullback all the way down to the 417, 415-ish area. And at that point, could even go down further. And you can see this resistance. I was talking about this, watching for that third three-touch breakout. And we finally got it and went on up. Lowest we'd get is right around this 410-ish area, 411 area on the Qs. So watch for that. And last but not least here, Tesla team. Last but not least here, Tesla. Watch this. Again, I'd love to short this under 180. Under 180, this could really free fall to 170, 160. I could see this by weeks in down to maybe 150 to 160. 150 to 160 in that range. On the way back on up, over 185, watch for the pop to 190. Over 190, could make it squeeze to 195, 200. You know, we got a lot of room to run on Tesla. I like the big crackback on this. That's why I like the NFLX this last week and made a lot of money on it. You go up so high, you've got a lot of room to go up and down. You go down so low, you haven't been in an area in forever. You've got a lot of room to go up and down, right? And so I like Tesla like NFLX this week. So those are only my two favorite plays, probably moving into Monday. Tuesday-ish is going to be NFLX and Tesla because they're in areas Tesla hasn't been in a long time. NFLX has never been in before. So those are definitely two tickers that I'm huge eyes on. AMD like that Tesla, or AMD, Meta, and NVDA will be other ones that I'm really keen on this week as well. See you this week. Again, find me over at Prime Trading Investments. You can do the one-on-ones over there. Of course, tradecaster.com. Come over to my lobby. Last week, Sean was out, had over 1,000 members in there when I was streaming live, which was huge. Hadn't had that in a few years. Of course, since I was a free lobby, but since I've been paid, I haven't had that number. So it'll be a paid stream lobby and have that many in there. Honor. So all of you that joined me last week, truly, truly appreciate it. Look forward to more of these to come. Until then, see you next time, team.